Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dennis. So we're going to go through, I thought this week I would just show you what I decided in terms of the 360 rad. So it's the Be Quiet Pure Loop FX2 RGB 360 millimeter radiator. It's going to go in, I'll show you the case, but it's another case from Be Quiet. Show you where I decided to put it. I'm going to show you a little bit about how it goes together. So if you're going to use this radiator, you'll know how to do it. And we'll get to the temps, but probably not. Maybe this video, maybe not. Stay tuned to find out. And yeah, we'll go through and I'll show you everything you need to know first. And then we'll see if we have time for temps. All right, let's get going. Okay, so those of you not familiar with Be Quiet's radiators, this is one right here. All right. Pump is located here. So it's a little different than some. So basically this is how I mounted it. All right. Now, of course it has three 120 millimeter fans. When you put that in, what I did is I had it. So you have a hub. Now this one's not RGB, so it doesn't have the RGB cable, of course. But if this is just a normal radiator with just fans on it. So I put those on the underside. So on the bottom here, like you can see up here, and this is going to wrap up and it'll go on the motherboard over here. All right, it'll be like that. So on this you've got your one connector for your fan, for your motherboard, and your adjuster RGB. Everything else is going to go on your hub. All right, so your hub, you got 3 screws, but I don't have the long screws to show you, so I can take a moment and show you that. But you can see on here how you have the screws. All right. So when your fans go on, just to show you, they're on both sides. So it depends on how you want to do it. You have the longer fans. You line it up, okay, with the holes that are pre-drilled. Okay, put those across, and you'll come up with what I've got up here. All right. Now, the other thing, other than connecting those up to your hub, is you have the top mount. So you have long screws that go from here into the radiator. Okay, they're measured to be exactly the right distance. And then you have short screws. So I'm going to show you that from the top here. Now for those that are wondering, this is the Dark Base Pro 901. All right. Now it has a magnetic little catch. Push that there, push it there. And then you're just going to pop it up. There's little fasteners along the side here. Right? Mostly it's magnetic. You have 2 catches on the back. And so what that does is it allows you to get to the top to put your screws in. So let's have a look at that so you can see it better. I'm just going to tip this. And that's where your small screws go. Right, so you just situate them so that they're lined up, goes across, then you put that back on, and that is it. That's your radiator is in there, it's mounted, you have your fans here. Now, if you want to reverse that and put the fans on the other side, that's totally your call. Now, pump is here, so when it goes up, everything is good. So, I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and put the motherboard in and hook everything up as we go along, and maybe we'll just do this as a build. But so for those of you wondering what I'm going to be using, I'm using Corsair DDR5, 32 gigabytes, it's 5600 megahertz. That's plenty for me. And it's going to look good. I'm using Teamgroup's M.2 PCIe Gen 3. It comes with a 5-year warranty, and that's plenty of speed for me. It's 2 terabytes, all I'm going to need, or most people for that matter. A lot of systems you buy today, you get 1 terabyte, be happy to get it, because otherwise you pay more. This is the Intel Core i5 13600KF. It's an LG A1700 13th gen CPU. And of course, our Mag SED 790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. Okay. Everything is going to go great. We're going to put this in the system. We'll install the CPU. Nothing too much to that, but I'll show you as we go along. And yeah, we'll get this up and running, and yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good system actually. There's not much to decide on except for what kind of thermal paste I'm going to use. And I got a few different choices to pick from, so I'll have to see which one it is. And yeah, so let's go ahead, put our motherboard, our memory, everything, put that all together, and we'll film that as I go along. So I guess this is turning into a build instead of just a radiator explanation, because what's an explanation without showing all the details? So let's get going. So I also decided to go with the Thermo Quantum Thermal Paste, okay, for extreme high performance. I have other ones that are for extreme overclocking, but that's not me, that's not what I'm doing. Most people are not going to be doing that, so I thought this would be a good choice. So that's going to be installed on top of the CPU, and then we'll put our water cooler on there. And yeah, so let's start populating the motherboard. Okay, so a few things to go over. Of course, we'll put our Intel CPU in after. First, I want to go over the backplate. So with Intel motherboards, you have to have a backplate. So you have these here, all right, these screws. Let me just show you those. See, we have these screws. These are washers, and then you have this that's going to go on top. So basically, it's going to look like that. So this is your washer with your screws coming through. Once you've got all four of those in, you're going to put it behind your motherboard. You're going to put it behind your motherboard so it comes up to match the screws here. Remember the 1700 is on the outer edge. All right. And once you do that, put it up and we'll continue on from there. This is all part of the mounting mechanism to make sure that your AIO will go on it no problem. Okay, so we've got this lined up. We're going to lift our motherboard up. All right. We can see our holes, make sure we get it lined up properly. It's going to go in like that. And then we can lay it back down. You can see the screws coming up from the motherboard down here. Okay, you can see them. And now we got to fasten it down. And that's where this comes into play. All right. These go in on top of this. All right. So you're just going to put them on here. Just hand tighten. And then continue to do that for the rest of them. Now when I first do it, I just tighten it like this first. Make sure it's nice and snug. Don't over tighten. And then you can put your screws in each of these corners. Okay, so once you got your backplate on, these are going to get on there. But before you put these on there, I'm just doing it to show you the direction that they're going to go. Okay, so don't put them on there yet, because if you do, you won't be able to take and put your CPU in. Okay, it won't lift up. All right, so just be aware of that, because I started to do that wrong and realized, and then it's like, no, pay attention to the manual. That's what it's there for. And yeah, so we're going to install our CPU. So installing CPU is pretty simple. You can see the triangle here. When you look at your CPU, there's a triangle in the corner here. All right, so that's how you're going to orient it. So you're going to push down, let it lift up, push it back, and this is going to lift up. Check your pins. You should have already done that in the store if you bought it in a store, but if you bought it online, now's a good time to check that. Make sure there's no broken pins, no bent pins, anything like that. All right, so now we're going to put in our CPU. So take it out of the package. This way, they've got the little indentations here to show you. So make sure you do that. Again, line up your triangle, which is down in the corner here. All right, you can see that little, there we go. All right, and it's going to set right in here. You can feel it pop down. Okay, once it's in, this is going to go down, so I'm just going to slowly lower that down. Now the thing you have to make sure is it goes underneath this little bracket. All right, so once you've got it down there, see how it just popped down? Then you want to go, make sure this has got pressure on here. Okay, so this right here. And then you're going to push this down until it goes underneath this little tab. This will pop off. Then we can do the little brackets. Okay, makes a little noise, don't worry. That's it. This pops off. The CPU is installed. Simple as that. Alright, so next, we're going to put on our brackets. So like I say, put your brackets on like so. Okay, then you got your screws. Alright, so these screws right here to secure them with. Now when you're putting them in, don't tighten them all the way. Okay, you can snug them a little bit, but you want to make sure you can still move it so you can line up the other side over here. Alright, if you put it down too tight, it makes it a lot more difficult for you. Now just do the exact same thing on the other side, making sure that, again, it goes like so. And then everything will be good. And then when we go to put our radiator on, it's going to go into these holes here and tighten down. So now, before we do that, I'm going to put it in the case. After we set it down, we'll put the thermal paste on, and then we'll attach it. And we'll be a long ways to being done. So before I go any further, I'm going to take this off here. Just loosen the two screws. Hopefully it pops up. And on this side, you have some plastic on here, so remove it. Okay. Static, so don't worry about that. Don't lose your screw. And I'm just going to set that here. Take your M.2 drive. It's going to go right in here. And you're just going to pop it right down there. And you'll fasten it on. So, do I need to do this first? Oh, you know what? I keep forgetting that they've improved things. So, there's a little catch. Let me just show you that right here. So, if I move it out of the way, I'm going to do this again. Pop it down. And then, I think I have to just move it. I haven't used these too much. There, and now it's fastened on. Now, I can put this over top, line everything up, and then just tighten it down. And then we'll have basically our hard drive. And the only other thing I might do is I might put my memory in, and I might do it after. We'll see. I think I'll do it after it's in the case, just so I can get the CPU and everything taken care of, so I'm not worried about that getting scratched or anything of that nature. So I'm going to fasten that down. We'll come back. So at this point in time, I'm going to put the motherboard in. One thing you have to remember is normally you'd have to put an I/O shield in. This motherboard has the I/O shield attached. All right, so there is a standoff here that's meant just to hold the motherboard in place so you can secure it with your standoffs. But before you do that, make sure you pick out your standoff screws so you can tighten them. Also, check these to make sure that they are tight. All of these are just slightly loose, and I think they do that on purpose, so if you have to change them around, this is an ATX motherboard, so it's all good. So I'm just going to put it in and fasten it all down. So I have to first make sure it's lined up. Once I line it up, everything looks like it's in the right place, and I've got my screws, we'll install it. Okay, so now that I've got my M.2 drive installed, I left the memory off. I'll do the thermal paste everything here in a minute. We're going to put our motherboard in first, and of course this little hole here, that's where this standoff is meant to it doesn't screw in, it's just there to support the weight, so then you can put your screws in. So we're going to do that first. Usually it sticks out a little bit more than that, but okay. In any case, I have a screw ready to put in place right here. That'll hold it in place until I can get the rest of them in. Okay, all our standoffs are screwed in with the standoff screws. It's in there. Now, we don't want to put that on there yet because we have to lower this down, put our thermal paste on, and once we have our thermal paste on, then we can put our AIO on, which should go like this. Line up with these, and then we can run our cables and hook them all to the motherboard. So before we do that though, I want to put this down so I can get at it and put on the thermal paste. So I'm going to do that next. So the quantum thermal paste that I've got, right, this right here, quantum thermal hero paste. So it says thermal paste, quantum hero. Now I got that. It actually comes with the TH Cleaner Plus. Now this can be used for CPUs, GPUs, PS4, Xbox, even a heatsink. It's thermal interface material for cleaning and degreasing any kind of mark that might be on your CPU before applying thermal paste, or if you're repasting it, you might want to put more on afterward when you're fixing it all up. And their recommended is not the way I'm going to do it, but the recommended is to put either 6 dots, a line in the middle, or just one mid-size in there. So they're saying put like 3, and then a line, and then spread it out with the little spatula thing here. So I don't know. I'll try that, I guess. What the heck? What have I got to lose? Well, actually, probably a lot, but okay, so we'll do a little bit here. Seems like a lot, but and it says do a little line. So there. And if I need more, well, I can put more. But what I'm going to do right now, take our little spatula and spread it out to make sure it covers all this. Okay, so now that we got our thermal paste on there, we're going to take our AIO. Make sure you remember to peel off this plastic. Okay. Oh yeah, it just crawled up in there, didn't it? Alright. Make sure you have a firm grasp of that so that it doesn't go falling and causing issues. Okay, so you want to be quiet, to be like this, and you're going to line it up with these holes here. It's pretty easy to do. Make sure you have your screwdriver handy so you can fasten it down once you've got it on there. Alright. I'll get my handy dandy screwdriver. And I go back and forth to make sure it goes on nice and even. When it's done, it will just stop. Okay, it won't turn anymore, just like that. And finish off the other side. That's it. Now we can set it back up, and then we're going to connect all our cables with our hub and addressable RGB hub. Sorry, fan and addressable RGB hub. And I'll show you where all the fans connect to, and then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, so I plugged in the one fan cable from here for the pump into where it says CPU fan. Now just to the right of that is another one that says pump fan. Now you can plug it in to either one. I prefer CPU. The reason being is I don't have to go into my motherboard, mess with the BIOS, and turn off the warning that you'll get. If you plug into a pump fan, you'll usually get an error message saying the CPU is overheating or whatever, because it's not recognizing that it's plugged in. With a pump fan, if you go in, you turn off that message, and then it'll work just fine. So whether you choose this one or this one is totally your call. All right? Up to you. This one here is the other addressable RGB, and it has to go to the motherboard. So, or if you wish, because it does come with a fan header, you can just put it behind here. In fact, I wouldn't recommend doing it with this one, but you probably could plug that into the addressable RGB hub if it'll reach, and do that. I'm not going to do that. I like using the one that's on the motherboard, even though it creates this little cable. I almost wish in some ways it was a little bit shorter, but anyway, you've got three here, you got 2 and a 1, and if you look, you'll see there's a 2 and a 1 up here. Plug them in, and you're good to go. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then we're going to turn to the back, show you the fan hub, addressable RGB and fan hub, and we'll do that, just like that. So this becomes a real pain in the butt, to be honest, but once you have your 24 pin in there, you're not going to really see it anyway. So let's get to the back and show you how all the cables connect, because that's going to be one of the things you're going to want to know. So when you get to your addressable RGB/fan hub, all right, right here, you can plug all your adjustable RGB and fans, okay? There's plenty of plugins for them, a couple on the end, but your cables, so you have one that's going to plug into your SATA for your power supply, you have a fan, and you have another adjustable RGB. Those have to go to the motherboard, all right? Just be aware of that. Your other cables from your fans, I still have to unwrap them. So there's 3 of them here. And of course, other fans that we have in the case, they'll also go on here. So the biggest thing you got to figure out really is, where am I going to put it? So on this case, that's the one thing I just noticed. There's not a lot of flat spots to put it. So I suppose you could take out an SSD and put it here or put it there, however you want to do it. So I might put it over here with some double-sided tape and just leave it there, but I'm going to have to play around here a little bit to discover where exactly I want it, and then I'll move it there afterward. But yeah, I'm going to do that first just to make sure where I can situate it, and then I'll come back here. So I decided I'm going to put it like right here somewhere. Now the cables will feed easily into the motherboard without any real problem. They'll reach the power supply real easy. Really should have put that in first, to be honest. But it doesn't matter. You can put it in at any point. So it comes with double-sided tape, right? It's pretty sticky, so make sure you can take it off once or twice, but once you've done that, you might want to make sure you got it in the right place and don't want to remove it again, because then it's going to be pretty hard to put it on there afterward. So hopefully this will attach okay. Yeah, so it's on there pretty good. So no real problems. So now all our cables are going to run down to here. Yeah, it's not the best. Maybe I should have put it here. Anyhow, that's what I'm going to run with. So now let's get to our cables. I'm going to disconnect all these, connect them once I've got all the twist ties off, and I'll show you where they all go. Okay, so I'll probably spend a lot of time playing around with this to get it to look better, to just the way I would like it. So I've plugged in all the adjustable RGB, all the fans. I even included the white case fans on here. There might be some I missed, but if there is, those will go to the motherboard, because there's really, could be a few extras. There's about, I guess, 4 extra adjustable RGB, but not fans. So I don't know, maybe they could add some more or something, but it's not really necessary, because you can always just plug it into the motherboard, and there's lots of motherboard headers on most motherboards, so you don't really have any issues. So we will have to take these 3 cables, all right, adjustable RGB, your fan, and for your power, and connect those. We will have to take all these cables. Okay, so we have two more SATAs, so we're going to have 3 in total for the system. We have the 2 USB 3s and USB-C, or sorry, front panel connector. This one is HD audio, but the front panel connector, if I can find it here, it's here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, down here. So 2 more cables down here. So there is another fan, so that'll go. No. So another addressable RGB and front panel. So if you want these to work, you have to plug them in. Front panel goes right to your motherboard, your addressable RGB, and you know what? I could probably plug that in here too, actually. Plug it in there because it'll fit. So rub that. I'll get that in here and we'll get it going. So anyhow, a lot of work to do, a lot of cable management. And once that's all done, I want to show you one more thing. So these cables are not bad. They're kind of hidden. I might put one here and just tidy up a little bit more. And we'll come back. So I think I'm going to end here. Not hard to do the rest. Put your memory in. Put your on the back. I just want to show you that as well. So there's our I/O shield that comes included. Put your antennas on here and all your other connectors. You've got lots of USBs, so no worry whatsoever with that. Put our power supply in here and we're good to go. So I'm going to finish the build in the next video. So if you want to see the rest of this, stay tuned. And for temperatures as well. So basically I just wanted to go over all the cabling as much as I could, show you how to put that in the case. All your cables. This is a little bit bigger project than I was anticipating. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. So power supply's got to go in. There's a whole lot more that I got to do on this. And yeah, we're going to finish that off in the next video. So I'm going to put this as basically a part one. I know a lot of people don't like part ones, but I've explained basically the 360mm cooler, installing the Intel CPU, putting on your thermal paste or M.2, and connecting some of your fans and adjustable RGB. So that's a pretty good covering. A lot of people will probably stop watching by now on my channel. And so welcome back. If you want to see the temps, stay tuned for the next video. I will finish this weekend with everything else, and if I can put it like quickly, get it done, and I'll try and get it as close as possible to the first one so it just follows right along. So anyhow, hope that doesn't upset too many people right away, but it looks good. It's going to look better once I get everything fired up and we test the temperatures on it and see how everything is exactly working. All right, everybody, so if you want to see the temperatures, you want to see what it all looks like in the final end, come back soon. It'll be here. It's going to take me another day, I think, just to sort out all the cables, make it look better, make sure everything is up there and running, install our memory. That'll all be in the next video. So because these videos can take such a long time, it'll just be too long. People will stop watching and they won't get the best part. So the best part's coming in the next video. So if you want to see it, stick around. If you like this video and it doesn't upset you too much, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know if there's something that you want to see differently for the second part of the video. And I'll put it in. I'll do it if I have time. Hopefully I'll have time. I did the Intel system because people wanted to see Intel with the 360mm rad. I showed you basically how everything on there plugs in. So you only have your SATA cable going to your power, your adjustable RGB and your motherboard, and your fan connector. And then that pump is good. It's ready to go. All right. So anyway, if you're new here, think about subscribing. Hit the thumbs up if you like it. Hit that bell for notifications so you can make sure you see the next video to get the whole picture. And as always, thanks for watching. And yeah, it took a little longer than I was expecting, but I'll get to it tomorrow and we'll finish it off. So see you next time. Take care.